Hey, hello everybody. The other day I was thinking, you know what? I need a soft pretzel. So I've never made them before, but I figured, how hard can it be? It's only dough. So I found a recipe on YouTube, and it was terrible. You got to be careful on YouTube. I made it exactly to what it told me, and they came out. They were horrible. When I boiled them, they just fell apart. So anyway, I found another recipe, and this one works. I'm really happy with this recipe. I'm telling you, they came out beautiful. Now, if you're thinking you're going to make soft pretzels because it's easy, you're thinking wrong. I got to tell you, this is not easy. All right, anyway, here's what you need is 1.5 cups of water, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, the recipe called for a whole teaspoon, but I want to put salt on the outside, on top, so uh, I didn't put too much in the recipe. Well, anyway, there went the recipe. I don't know what all it said, but just whatever it said, just do that. Okay, so um, I've got a cup and a half of water, which has got to be warm. Now look, the water's really important. If you make the water too hot, you're going to kill the yeast, and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? So if you can, use a thermometer for the water. And the water should never be above 110 Fahrenheit. I like to keep it at 105. 105, you're safe. If it goes any lower, it's just going to take a lot longer for the dough to rise. But if it goes above 110, the dough's not going to rise. You're going to kill the yeast. So anyway, there's a cup and a half of water there, and 2.25 teaspoons of yeast, which equals 1 package of yeast. There's one recipe on YouTube where it calls for 2 tablespoons of yeast. Obviously it was a typo, but I mean, if you use 2 tablespoons of yeast, oh man, you're going to end up with a lot of dough. All right, anyway, there, I'm waiting for the water to cool off a little bit. It was kind of hot. So I'm going to end up with 105 degrees, and that's perfect. 105. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. So 2.25 teaspoons of yeast is going in there. Plus, I'm going to put in half of the sugar. I'm going to give the yeast a little bit of a head start. So give this 5, 6, 7 minutes. Go do something else for a little while. Whenever you make bread, a lot of the time is proofing the bread. You know what I mean? Where the bread rises. You're not going to sit there and watch it rise, So, it might sound like it's taking a long time, but it's a lot of the bread is proofing. Also, hey, I got this coolest little thing. I made a proof box. All right? On my stove, all right, yeah, I'm going to give this 5 minutes. On my stove, when I use the oven, it vents. One of the burners in the back vents any extra heat out of the oven. So if you put your hand over that burner, even though the burner's not on, it feels hot. When it's when the oven is turned on. So what I'm doing is I take advantage of that, and I have a box, and the box is exactly the size of the cookie tins. So I can put 2 cookie tins in this box, and then what I do is I put a couple of pie tins over the burners on the top of the stove, and then I put the box on top of the burners, and it keeps the temperature perfect. I mean, it really is a good proof box. I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. All right, here. Now, you put all that stuff together and knead it for 5 minutes. Now, if you're kneading this by hand, it's going to be tough, because this dough is not moist at all. You know, I mean, it's a tough dough. You know, it's kind of dry. So if you're kneading it by hand, boy, whoo, you're gonna end up with forearms like Popeye. You know. Lucky for me, I don't need it by hand. Okay, so there it is. 5 minutes. It proofed. Now what I did, I put a little water down on the board and then put the flour on. It works very nicely. All right, there. Now you want to roll it up. You want to try to tighten it. You know, tighten the dough as much as possible. That's the same when you make bread or coffee cake or whatever you're making. You know, you want to tighten it as much as possible. Okay. Oh, I'm getting the oil off my hands. All right, now I'm going to proof it. What I did was I turned the oven on at like 250 for like 5 minutes. That's it. And then I shut it off. So I'll put this into the oven with no heat. You know, it's just a little bit of residual heat. It is winter time, so you know you got to find a warm place to proof this. So, you know, that oven is perfect. Like I said, the oven's not on. It's just residual heat. All right, that's going to proof for 1 hour. Okay? And I'm not sure if it doubles. Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, it doubles. So 1 hour, and that's going to be good. Okay, so, you know, go to the store or something. There you go. Come back, and here it is. Look at this. Woo! Beautiful. It really is a nice dough. I mean, it's, you know, it's good. I like this recipe. It worked out perfect. These things are very nice. I'm really satisfied with it. They're really good. And you know, they're not only pretzels, but I mean, you could serve this with a dinner. You know, I mean, you know, just do it a little different. Don't roll them into pretzels. You know, make them into dinner rolls. You could do that. You know, it's a very good dough. I like it. All right, so anyway, here's the pretzels. You know, I've never made these before, but like I said, I figured how hard can it be? Well, let me tell you, the recipe I used yesterday was horrible. I threw them away. Plus, not only that, but I used parchment paper. As you can see, I used parchment paper, and they stuck to the parchment paper. Forget it. I mean, that recipe was bad. This recipe is good. Today I didn't use parchment paper. What I did was I greased the cookie tins, and then I put a little bit of cornmeal on the cookie tins. So, you know, there was no parchment. Normally I'd use parchment on just about everything, but not on these. I'll tell you why, because when you boil these, you know, the dough kind of stays wet, and that and the parchment paper, you know, the moisture just does, it's not a good combination, and it was like glue. You know, I mean, I couldn't get that paper off of those things to save my life. Yeah, you do boil them. Like I said, this really isn't easy making these things. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let them proof. You know, I'm going to put them in that box. I'll show you the box. It's coming up here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know why I brushed the eggs on them. You don't brush the eggs until they go into the oven. I kind of screwed this whole thing up. I don't know where my head was. Oh, here we go. There's a cookie tin over there, and you can see it's brushed, and it's... Oh, no, wait a minute. No, that was yesterday's video. I got these two videos mixed up. I don't know what video this is. But anyway, there, I made some different... I made some sticks. And, no, this is today's video. I made some sticks, and I made some kind of like pretzel bites, but they're kind of big. You know, bites are smaller. You can do that, you know, either way. Oh, now here. I got this whole thing all mixed up. Oh, brother. I was trying to multitask, and it wasn't working out. So anyway, hopefully I don't have too much of this, because we've already seen this. Wait a minute. What's going on? No, I think it's over right about now. Pretty soon. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to make these again. You know, I got a whole bunch. I mean, I got a lot out of this piece of dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze them. And, you know, oh, okay, there's the box. Like I said, the box is perfect. The cookie tins fit perfectly. All right, now there you can see I put 4 little cups on the corners of the pan. That way I can stack them. You know, everybody makes fun of me for keeping those little yogurt cups. Man, I use those things a lot, man. All right, so there we go. Now you see it's on the stove. And the last burner on the stove, like I said, the oven kind of lets off heat out of that burner. And it's just a perfect thing. Look for a box like that. If you can find one, you're in good shape. All right, now, there's 2 quarts of water in this pan. And to that, I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of baking soda. Yes, that's 5 tablespoons of baking soda. All right. I'm not sure if I have that on video or not, but once it boils, I'm going to add the baking soda to it. Okay, and then you're going to boil. No, I don't show it. But anyway, when you add the baking soda to the boiling water, it's going to fizzle. Watch out. But it won't overflow. Even though it looks like it's going to, it won't. So it's going to fizzle, though. But just, you know, ignore that. All right, so what you do is you boil them in this baking soda water for 90 seconds. That's it. Only a minute and a half. And if you can, turn them over, you know, flip them over somewhere in that time. They're 90 seconds, all right? Just boil them in there and take them off and let them cool. And then you're going to put them on the greased cookie tin. And then you bake them. Now, this recipe calls for to bake them at 450. They do look kind of gnarly when they first come out of the water. I mean, after they cool, when they come out of the water, they do look kind of weird. All right, now you put the egg. By the way, that's an egg yolk and sugar. 1 egg yolk and about a teaspoon of sugar mixed together. Yeah, go ahead and brush them pretty liberally with the egg yolk and the sugar. It gives them a real nice brown color. Okay, so here they are coming out. Man, these things are really good, I'm telling you. They're very good. I really like them. All right, so anyway, don't ever think they're easy to make because they're not. You know, I mean, wow. All right, listen, that water that I boiled them in, it's 3 tablespoons of baking soda per quart of water. All right, so I had 2 quarts of water. Now, I should have used 6 tablespoons, but I didn't. I used 5. I mean, 5 is good enough. And exactly what the baking soda and the water does, I really don't know. I know it changes the pH of the water, you know, that's for sure. But I don't know exactly why. The bagels are the same way. When you make bagels, you do the exact same thing. You boil them in baking soda. You know, baking soda and water. I don't know. It does something to the skin, you know. I mean, I really don't know. Maybe one day I'll look it up. Like I said, I've never made these before. You know, this is new to me. I tell you what, though, really, seriously, I'm really happy with this recipe. It's really good. I'm going to do this again. Maybe if you have a party, maybe the best thing to do would be the small little bites. Now, like I said, those bites there are way too big. You know, I mean, that's a whole dinner roll size. But you could make them a lot smaller, you know. But that would be a good idea for a party, to make them nice and, you know, bite size. But I tell you, man, they really came out nice. They really did. I love them. Look at that. Wow, man. Very good. I love them. Okay, there's your recipe again. All right, I got to go. I got to eat. Yeah, I baked them at 450 for about 15 minutes and then check them. And if they're not getting brown, turn it up to 500. I at the end of mine, I had to turn on the broiler for I don't know about 2 or 3 minutes. The top broiler. Okay, bye. See you. I gotta go.